What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out, as we got that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz now facing some serious legal trouble after crossing the line with his latest statements, taking things too far with his dangerous rhetoric on President Donald Trump, guys. And I'm excited to get into this one. So we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Think of how easy it would be to be a Republican. Oh, what should I wear today? This stupid freaking red hat. What should I say today? I don't know. Just make sure it's cruel. Who do we listen to? That guy. Oh, the felon in the White House? Yeah, listen to him and that will be fine. Now he's talking about burning flags. He's going to have flag burning or whatever, because he knows there's a hell of a lot of flags with his picture on it that are going to get burned. Get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
Most people aren't as involved in politics as you and I, and they're worried about the division in this country.
Yes.
So what's your message?
Yeah, that's the shame of this. Look, this was on purpose. You know, there's always been division, but like I said, we would sit down and go out together. And many of my colleagues in Congress that I was friends with, and a couple of them even held true to that and said, look, Governor's here to testify. I've got things to say, but I'm a friend. I'm not going to say it in public. And I thought that was really impressive, but it was a small number of them. The president has done this, knowing to divide it. He uses words like the enemy within. And we've never used that language.
All right, so many of you may know by now there were tons of rumors of flying around on the net last week on President Donald Trump and his passing. This is all due to 2 days on his calendar where he didn't have much media presence at all, which kind of blew my mind because we've seen Joe Biden not doing any interviews, no presence in the media whatsoever for how long. There was no questions or concern from those on the left. But when it's President Donald Trump gone for 2 days is all it took. The left took it and they ran with it. Tim Walz being one of those lunatics on the left that also ran with it. We just see him getting up on stage and basically wishing the worst for President Donald Trump when he says, we got up this morning, we all were scrolling on our phones and we were hoping there would be news. Well, I'll tell you guys, someday there will be news. Absolutely despicable, disgusting behavior, especially coming from someone in leadership. We're not supposed to act or behave this way as decent human beings, but people in leadership are held to a higher standard, and Tim Walz should know that by now. And of course, folks have been weighing it and letting Tim Walz know exactly how incorrect his statements were. We got that superstar CNN host Scott Jennings absolutely laying it on thick.
But I'll tell you who is a complete piece of shit. I'm going to tell you right now.
There have been a lot of swear words at this table today.
Tim Walz,
okay?
the governor of Minnesota, holding up a phone in front of a rally saying, well, we thought we were going to wake up and find out the president had died. Someday it'll happen. Someday it'll happen. I used to say he was the biggest buffoon in American politics, but it's worse now. No political official, no elected official should be walking around saying, well, I'm hoping we wake up one day and the president of the United States has died. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
That we don't see that from President Trump is news. And I think the second thing here that's interesting, though, is it sort of flips on its head. We spent much of Biden's presidency hearing, Trump supporters, more MAGA influencers, kind of documenting every day, oh, Biden stumbled on getting on the plane, or he walked a certain way, or he looked a certain way today. And now we're sort of seeing that flip on its head with Democrats taking that approach with
And why
Trump.
did we have to document it? Because nobody else would.
Hold on a second, Scott. You had an opportunity to ask the president today about this, and you did not. Why?
Well, because when he got on the phone and sounded very much alive, I thought it would sound kind of stupid, frankly, to ask an alive person if they were dead.
Are you concerned about his health?
No, because I talked to him on the phone yesterday for 40 minutes. I talked to the president and interviewed him, and we had a wide-ranging conversation, and he sounded fine to me. He covered a lot of topics. The things that were on his mind were tariffs, primarily. He was worried about the Supreme Court case that's coming up. He talked a lot about foreign affairs. He talked about immigration and talked about his political opposition. I mean, look, what I'm worried about are people making irresponsible statements and wish casting about the president's health. I watched a video yesterday of Tim Walz speaking in front of a group saying, well, we thought we were going to wake up to some great news. but it turns out he's still alive. But don't worry, one of these days we'll wake up to that news. Now, that is the governor of Minnesota, the Democratic candidate for vice president, wish casting the death of the President of the United States. I don't care how much you hate your political opponent, wishing death upon them and joking about it means you're a broken-brained SOB, and that's what he is.
And frankly, takes like that is exactly why I refer to Scott Jennings as that superstar CNN host, because he's more often than not calling the balls and the strikes straight down the center. No matter whose team you're playing for, he comes out of nowhere hitting that nail on the head when he says that Tim Walz is wrong as two left shoes on his statements against President Donald Trump. I mean, we just have to think back and reflect on all the things that President Donald Trump has been through as a result of the dangerous rhetoric coming from these loonies on the left. I mean, how many attempts on President Donald Trump's life does it take for folks on the left to wake up and realize that this is not called for? This is a very dangerous game you're playing. You know, you have to watch what you're saying because you never know who's out there listening. I mean, just look at the amount of crazy that we have in the nation today, and they still think it's okay to talk like this and refer to Donald Trump in this manner. We got our friend Tim Pool also weighing in. He gives a very clean explanation on why he thinks Tim Walz and the left keep on pushing this rumor against President Donald Trump.
They say lack of detail in the schedule prior to Levitt's statement had prompted speculation on social media despite Trump addressing rumors about his health on Sunday night. Some continued to question the nature of the announcement, with some suggesting it could be related to a possible resignation. Never felt better in my life, Trump wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social, in response to a post from MAGA influencer who claimed the media freaks out if he disappears for 24 hours. Well, I'll tell you why they freak out. It's because everybody's views are down. We're in the off season and it's summer. So everybody's seeing a traffic decline. This happens after every presidential cycle. People are burnt out, or it's not so much about burnout, but the stakes aren't there. They might care about politics a little bit, but combine that with congressional recess in August, and ain't much going on. So views take a hit, and without Donald Trump to scream about, liberals are in trouble. Many of you may have noticed, since I was sick over the past 3 weeks, Sam Cedar did not make a video about me, and his views are down 20%, and his subscribers 75%. You see what happens? Now, the man won't stop talking about me, so when I get sick and I'm out of work, he has nothing to talk about. But, you know, he probably shed a tear of joy when I return to work. The same thing is true for Donald Trump on a larger scale. The media's freaking out, and these liberal commentators are freaking out because if Trump actually goes away for any reason, they have nothing to say. They have no way to generate traffic or content if Trump is missing, and then they can't make money. So what do? They make it up. If Trump is on vacation or hanging with family for even a couple days, they have to go for the "Dear God, please help me, I need clicks on my YouTube videos." So they call him dead. And that is shocking enough fake news manufactured to keep those addicted to the Trump cycle watching the news about Donald Trump.
Absolutely despicable, lowest of the low behavior on display from these loonies on the left. This is one that I just can't not understand or wrap my brain around. I feel like Tim Pool, he explained that very thoroughly when he said they're doing this because they're desperate for more attention, more eyeballs on their content, but you just don't go that. That's something you just don't mess around or joke with. I feel like this subject, it took me away to see that the left would actually think this was okay. And then to see a sitting governor joining in as well on this, pounding this dog pound on President Donald Trump. I mean, it really just does something to me. It truly ticks me off. But we know President Donald Trump did not sit by and let this rumor swirl around for long at all. He took to Truth Social. He posted a memo, and it was a good morning from President Donald Trump. This being tweeted out by ALX, and we can see this is President Trump saying, "I'm alive." Memo from Trump. "I'm alive. Friend, the fake news media and the radical left tried to spread lies, saying your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, was dead or sick. Can you believe it? Absolutely disgraceful, despicable, disgusting behavior coming from these loonies on the left." And he took it a step further, and he did a press conference, and he addressed these rumors swirling around about his name, and he debunks it all.
Last week, I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape.
And I said it in the beginning, guys, the left had no problem, no questions or concern when it came to Joe Biden. But when it's DJT, guess what? He's gone for 2 days and the most egregious rumors start flying around on the net. But this is bad. You could tell this one was really different from all the dangerous rhetoric that they've been pushing on President Donald Trump, because even folks on the left are not able to come on and get on board with this one. We got Fox News panelist Harold Ford Jr. weighing in and saying this is absolutely the worst behavior that he's seen on display coming from the Dems, and it's unacceptable.
I've said now for weeks, I don't understand why Democrats continue to attack Donald Trump personally. I don't understand it why any member of a political class or elected official would talk about death and violence towards any politician, be it one you agree with or one you disagree with. I didn't find it humorous, Stephen Colbert saying when his audience booed the fact that President Trump was alive, he should have gotten very serious. I'll never forget when John McCain and Barack Obama were running in 2008, and a woman got up in the audience and said that Barack Obama was a terrorist, he was a Muslim, he was this, he was that, and John McCain grabbed the mic from him and said, he's not. I don't agree with him, but he's a decent human being who wants to be president. You can't even enable that kind of stuff. Democrats with working class people and affluent people in America now trading and shopping down at Dollar General and Walmart and other places where lower income consumers shop. It shows that there's a gap between what people are earning and what people want to earn. Why aren't we talking about those issues? Why aren't we trying to save Medicaid? The personal attacks, be done with it. It's not a good look, and frankly, it's a dangerous thing to be treading down the path of.
Come on now, guys. You know it's bad. And we're even seeing folks on the left stepping in and calling out their constituents, saying this is where we have to draw the line. This is very dangerous waters that we're getting off into. And we've seen what has come from the dangerous rhetoric against President Donald Trump in the past. Why would we even toy around with it right now? This is not what we need. We need more unity, not division. Even though Tim Walz wants to preach that as President Donald Trump try to place the blame and say that he's trying to divide us from one another, from our neighbors, but it's actually Tim Walz. We've seen the way that he spoke against just simply putting on a red cap there in the beginning. It's all them, all on their side. And the craziest part about it is Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota, and we've seen what's going down in his state, what used to be the great state of Minnesota. Now it's diminishing, falling apart, turning into, I guess, the Muslim capital of the United States of America now, all because of Tim Walz and his far left radical policies.
And look, you mentioned Tim Walz. I have to get your take on it. I mean, he's joking about this rumor that's going on, the death of President Trump. I mean, it's sick. How does he have the time? Look at that city.
Look, this guy's a complete and total failure. They had a circus in Minneapolis last week, I think it was. The convention, they called it, the DNC, and he was literally blaming Republican rhetoric for the assassination of, even though she was a Democrat, our friend Melissa Hortman and her husband. It could not be more damaging what this guy does. And he's exacerbated the mental health crisis in Minnesota. He's exacerbated the anti-law enforcement, out-of-control crime in Minnesota. It's got to end. And the good news is Donald Trump is showing everyone. Not only did he campaign on making America safe again, but now he is showing everyone, starting with the District of Columbia, there is a way to fix this. And he's willing to partner with Tim Walz even. He's willing to partner with J.B. Pritzker. He doesn't care what their politics are. He is willing to partner with them to make them safe.
And that's the facts right there. I really just can't wrap my head around or fathom how someone with so much on their plate has the time to do the whole gossip girl thing, the high school rumors, and further and spreading these rumors around President Donald Trump's name. We've seen the current state of Minnesota, and he's the one that's in charge. Why don't you worry about your state instead of worrying about President Donald Trump? I mean, we've seen all the scandal that he's wrapped up in.
We've known Tim Walz for less than a week, and we've already found out he let rioters burn down cities, lied about his military service, crushed small businesses, and turned Minnesota into a child sex change sanctuary. But that's not it. Tonight, we're dropping another Walz bombshell. As governor, Walz let a gang of politically connected Somali fraudsters steal $250 million of your money. It was the single biggest COVID scam in American history. During the pandemic, the government was just giving out money left and right. A nonprofit in Minnesota, Feeding Our Future, got $250 million to send food to needy kids. Sounds good, right? Here's the problem. Almost none of it was used for food. The Somali scammers blew our cash on real estate, cars, extravagant get trips. We have wire transfers that show thousands going to car dealerships. $160,000 went to some company in China. And $500,000 was sent to Kenya to buy an apartment. A $500,000 apartment in Kenya is probably a palace. But our tax dollars weren't just used on goodies. The politicians got a taste too. Ilhan Omar got thousands of dollars in donations from some of the scammers. These guys weren't criminal masterminds. It was sloppy. When they cooked the books, they made up names of their fake clients. They came up with these names. Are you ready? Unique Problem. Friday Donations. How'd nobody catch that? Well, early on, Walz's administration thought it looked a little suspicious, so they froze the funds. Then the Somalis sued and called Walz racist, so he kept letting them steal. They didn't bother to crack into the bank accounts or issue subpoenas. Walz just put his hands in the air and said, I'm not racist. Take whatever you want. Minnesota has a huge Somali population. You can't get called racist and expect to win another election there. Walz even gave one of the fraudsters the Minnesota Outstanding Refugee Award. 3 years later, she was indicted.
So we can see there's clearly tons of problems that Governor Tim Walz could be addressing in his state rather than pushing these rumors, spreading these falsehoods on President Donald Trump. It really just grinds my gears that he would take it this far. And I can't wait to see someone finally stepping in and holding him to it, holding him accountable for his action, his words, this very dangerous rhetoric that he's been spreading on President Donald Trump. But of course, you know, this has the internet buzzing in a full frenzy behind the rumors. And then on top of that, the response is even greater. We're going to check out a couple of the folks from X that chimed in on the talks. We got Mary here, Rep. Mary Franson, saying this is disgusting of Governor Tim Walz. I'll remind you that the President of the United States was nearly assassinated a few times. What kind of leader cheers for the death of political opponents? Gross and vile. And that is as clear and cut as it is. I mean, this is just disgusting, despicable behavior that we're seeing being demonstrated by Governor Tim Walz. John Justice here, even chiming in saying, you're just a horrible person. I mean, who actually does? You're not a decent human being. You can't call yourself a people person if this is the type of rhetoric that you're going to spew on people, and you don't even know if it's true or not. That's the worst part about it. I mean, he didn't even wait for the information to be verified, fact-checked, or anything like that. He just saw this and ran with it and kind of just praised and wished the worst. Like, I wish it would be true, and if it's not true, guess what? One day it's going to come true. It just grinds my gears. It makes me so upset. I was seething angry when I finally seen that it wasn't true and that all these folks quick to jump on the train and start celebrating. Like, this is not how you, this is just disgusting. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, I would never celebrate the passing of a political figure, no matter how much I do not like them or I despise them. We got Kate here also weighing in saying a sitting governor made this statement. A sitting governor was disappointed that Trump isn't dead. Tim Walz should be removed from office. It's as clear as that. That right there is the tone that we need to set. Let these folks on the left know that this type of dangerous rhetoric is what will get you removed from office. There's just certain places that you don't go, certain things that you do not say, and this is one of them. This is definitely one of them. We need to see action. We got Minnesota veteran here. This is Tris, chiming in saying that you are a terrible man, Governor Tim Walz. Your pure hate is embarrassing to the state of Minnesota. And this is coming from someone, a resident of Minnesota. She says, every time you call for death, it happens. If it isn't to the kids or your friends, the Hortmans, when will it be enough? You have no business serving in politics, none at all. And this is coming from folks that voted him in. I mean, you've lost the support of everyone with this. I lose all respect for a man once you see him dancing around, parading on such terrible news. Even though it's not true, it's still, you have to just think, okay, what if it was true? This is how you're going to react. I can't believe it. You do not deserve a seat in leadership. You should not be that governor. Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Seen that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz coming out and saying the unthinkable when it comes to President Donald Trump. I'm just thankful, and I thank God that we still have our president here today. Once I seen those rumors, I was quick to get on the net to make sure that we could verify, or some type of someone in close relation to President Donald Trump, someone in his cabinet actually announces it. Maybe, but it was not even announced by anyone in the administration, and no one that was close to President Donald Trump. But the way the legacy media took it, the folks on the left took it and ran with it, it needs to be taken down, noted, and studied so that we know these figures and how they really truly feel about President Donald Trump. This is taking it a whole step above that TDS that we joke around about, that Trump derangement syndrome. This is taking that and taking it to a whole different level. I don't care how much you dislike or despise someone, calling for them or wishing the worst for them, it's never acceptable. And he needs to be held accountable for it, guys. Definitely hop in that comment section. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.